Sayyiduna Abu Hurayra, more commonly known as Sayyiduna Abu Hurayra, was born in 630 AD, and he was from the Daws tribe of Najran in Yemen, so presently that's in south of Saudi Arabia. The tribal leader of the Daws tribe, Abu Tufail Amir al-Dawsi, he once went to perform Hajj, and some of the unbelieving Meccans, they told him, warned him about the Prophet ﷺ. They said, don't listen to him, that he's a magician, he's a madman. Now Abu Tufail, he tried to avoid the Prophet ﷺ, but he was doing tawaf and he heard the Prophet ﷺ reciting some ayats from the Quran, and he was captivated. And then he wanted to meet the Prophet ﷺ. So he waited to meet the Prophet ﷺ at their home. And he asked the Prophet ﷺ about what he ﷺ was reciting. And when the Prophet ﷺ told him that these were the words of Allah, he knew that that was the truth, that these are not the words of a normal human being. And he accepted Islam at the hands of the Prophet ﷺ at this very meeting, which was around 4 or 5 years after the Prophet announced his prophethood. Now, he saw prayers from the Prophet ﷺ that to go back to his tribe, Najran, and invite them to Islam. So as a result of the Prophet's prayers, an immense light appeared in his forehead. And it was so strong that he got worried that this is going to put people off. So he made a dua to Allah that Allah transfer this light into my whip. And the light was transferred. Now when he came to his people, he invited his father and his wife to Islam, and they readily accepted. However, the rest of his clansmen were rejected, because one of the two things that they were involved in that Islam forbade was fornication, zina, and riba, interest. So after a few years, he returned to Mecca Sharif again for Hajj, and when he met the Prophet, he said to the Prophet, I pray that Allah destroys my people, because I try to invite them and they're not willing to give up these bad traits, these bad habits. And the Prophet ﷺ raised his blessed hands and he said, "Oh Allah, guide the people of the Daws." And when Abu Tufail, when he returned, he managed to convert some 80 families to Islam. He was keen to save his people, and he was keen to show them the beauty of Islam. On the following trip, when he went back to Mecca Sharif, He even offered the Prophet ﷺ shelter and security because he knew the Meccans were persecuting the Muslims. So he offered the Prophet, like, come and stay with us and we will provide security and we will provide shelter for you. And the Prophet ﷺ said, you don't have to, Allah has not given permission to migrate. So Abu Tufayl, he made regular trips to Mecca Sharif to gain guidance from the Prophet ﷺ. Now, some people assume that Sayyiduna Abu Hurayra became Muslim much later in his life, but he actually accepted Islam under Abu Tufayl. So at this time, he was probably around the age of 20. Now his mother hadn't converted, his father passed away, but his mother hadn't converted yet. So the Prophet ﷺ informed Abu Tufayl that when the order to migrate to Medina Sharif comes, then I will tell you and you migrate also, you and your tribe. So when the time came to migrate, a message was sent to the Daws tribe and they migrated. Now where they were from, Najran, was very fertile. It was beautiful, luscious green land. So when they came to Medina Sharif, which was very harsh climate for them, a lot of them became ill. Even some of the Meccans, when they moved, they became ill because the climate was so harsh. But this uneasiness, this was nothing to them because they were pleased to be in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ. Now, although Sayyiduna Abu Hurayra was in Medina Sharif during the Battle of the Trenches, his first physical meeting with the Prophet ﷺ was not until the incident of Khaybar, which took place in 629, so that makes Sayyiduna Abu Hurayra around about 25, 26 years old. Now, the confusion why people may thought that he became Muslim at this time was because when they met the Prophet ﷺ, his tribe and him, they renewed the bay'ah with the Prophet ﷺ, and they renewed the faith. So mainly that's why people assumed they became Muslim at that time. Now, Sayyidina Abu Hurayra was unemployed, he was homeless, and he was unmarried. So he joined a special group of companions who we know as Suffa. And the Suffa was basically a shelter in the Prophet ﷺ's mosque that the Prophet ordered to be made to shelter these companions. Now, this group of companions at one time was over 70, to include the likes of Sayyidina Bilal ibn Rabah, Sayyidina Salman al-Farisi, Sayyidina Ammar ibn Yasir, these types of companions. Now, they had no job, they had no livelihood, and they had nothing to do with worldly affairs. So they dedicated their entire time to studying the religion. And the poverty of Medina Sharif at that time meant that these companions would often go hungry. They didn't have, for many days. And many of them didn't even have enough clothes to cover their body. Sayyidina Abu Hurayra himself, he says, I never ate fresh bread, I never wore new clothes, and I did not possess a slave, nor did I even have a blanket to keep me warm. That was the state of the companions. Other companions, out of their generosity, would hang like a bunch of dates inside the Suffa area that at least these companions could have something to eat. Now, describing the states in Abu Hurayra, he narrates a beautiful incident, and he says that I used to lie on the ground on my stomach out of severe pain of hunger. And he said one time, I saw Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq walking past, and I asked him about one of the verses of the Quran. It was just an excuse. I just want to make conversation with him that he invites me to his home for food. So he said, I asked Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the answer to me, the kind of walking. And then I saw Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab, and I asked him about a verse from the Quran, in the hope that he's going to invite me to his home for food. And he answered me, but he didn't invite me. And then he says, and he called the Prophet Abu Qasim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said the Prophet passed by me, and they smiled, and they saw me, and they knew what was in my heart, and they knew what was in my face. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Oh Allah, here." They said, "Follow me." And they took Sayyidina Abu Hurayra home. And when they went home, they asked at home that what is there to eat, and they said there is some milk. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Where does this milk come from?" They said, so-and-so has given it. So then the Prophet ﷺ said to Sayyidina Abu Hurayra, "Oh, Allah, here." And he said, "Labbaik ya Rasulullah." They said, "Go and call your companions." Now Sayyidina Abu Hurayra, who said that, I was a bit annoyed that I thought this child that's been brought to the Prophet ﷺ, that it's not really enough for all of us, and I was hoping that it's my right that I came with the Prophet, and the Prophet was going to give it to me. And he said, well, I obeyed the Prophet ﷺ, and I called my companion from Suffa, and they came, they sought permission, and they entered the mosque. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, oh, Bahir. And he said, Labbaik ya Rasul. And they said, give this milk to your brothers. So he offered the milk to the first one, and he said, my companion, my friend, my brother, he said he drank till his fill, and he returned the cup back to me. Then I gave it to the second one. He drank till his fill, he gave it back to me. And the third, and so on and so forth. He went round, and the entire circle of companions drank till they filled. And then the Prophet said, well, Bahir, and he said, Labbaik ya Rasulullah. And the Prophet said, now it is you and me. And the Prophet said to him, drink. And he said, I drank. And the Prophet said, drink. He said, I drank. And the Prophet said, drink some more. He said, until I said, Ya Rasulullah, I don't have any more room. And then the Prophet said, I handed the bowl to them, and they drank from the milk. So the Suffa companions, even though this was a state, they chose this way of life. It wasn't that they were lazy like us, that they couldn't work, or they were disabled, or they had some disability or so. They chose this way of life. And their greatest joy was gazing at the Prophet ﷺ and looking at his beautiful face. And Sayyiduna Abu Hurayra, when he says himself, he said, witnessing the beauty of the Prophet ﷺ would bring comfort to my soul and coolness to my eyes. So this reward made all the sacrifices they made, this reward made everything worthwhile. Now when he was asked about why he was called Abu Hurayra, because as I mentioned in the beginning, his name was Abdurrahman ibn Sakhr, he said, I used to be a shepherd looking after a sheep for my employer. She was called Basra bint Ghazwan. He said, one day I found a kitten and I gave it some milk, and I saw that it was not really safe at night, so I put it on a branch. So in the morning, I was curious to see how his kitten was doing. I said, I saw it was safe. So I started to look after it, give it milk. And then when it was time to return home, I thought, I can't leave it here. So he said, I put it in my sleeve. And then I took it home. And when people saw me, they started to refer to me as Abu Hurayra, which means the father of kittens. Now, since he had no profession or family to support, Sayyiduna Abu Hurayra, he spent his time learning directly from the Prophet ﷺ and all the senior companions. He learned the Quran from the likes of Sayyidina Ubay ibn Ka'b radiyallahu anhu. And he was also very keen to preserve the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ. But he realized he couldn't remember, he's very because he couldn't remember what he heard. So on one occasion he said to the Prophet ﷺ that I listened to you but I can't remember. And the Prophet ﷺ said to him, spread your cloak. And he spread his cloak, and the Prophet ﷺ blew upon it and told Sayyidina Abu Hurayra to wear it. Sayyidina Abu Hurayra said from that moment on and never forgot a single word that the Prophet ﷺ narrated. And no one ever questioned his memory because of this. And on another occasion, Sayyidina Abu Hurayra, he says that me and Sayyidina Zayd ibn Thabit, we sat together in the mosque. And the Prophet ﷺ entered, and out of shyness we went quiet. And the Prophet ﷺ said, what were you doing? And Sayyidina Zayd and Sayyidina Abu Hurayra said, we were teaching one another the Quran. And then Sayyidina Zayd, he made a dua, and the Prophet ﷺ said, Ameen. And then Sayyidina Abu Hurayra, he made a dua. He said, oh Allah, make me remember everything I hear. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Ameen. Then Sayyidina Zayd said to the Prophet, why don't you make the same dua for me? And the Prophet said, Abu Hurayra has beaten you to it. And this is one of the reasons that later Muslims, they never doubted or questioned the integrity of the narrations narrated by Sayyidina Abu Hurayra. In his later life, his impeccable memory, he even intrigued the Umayyad Caliph of the time. So what he did was he called Sayyidina Abu Hurayra, summoned him, and he said to a scribe, hide behind the curtain, and I want you to write every single word that Abu Hurayra narrates. So the Umayyad Caliph, he said to Sayyidina Abu Hurayra that please narrate some ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So he narrated until the scribe said enough, that ran out of paper. And then he called Sayyidina Abu Hurayra a long time after, over a year after, and he said to Sayyidina Abu Hurayra that if you recall some ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ to me, please can you narrate them same ones again. And the scribe, he had all his notes, and the scribe said that every single word that he mentioned was exactly like he mentioned the year before. That's the extent of his memory. His mother, she was called Umayya, and like I mentioned, she was initially Muslim, and she would often say hurtful things about the Prophet ﷺ, and this pained Sayyidina Abu Hurayra. He was upset about this. So one occasion he said to the Prophet ﷺ that, please pray for my mother. And as soon as the Prophet ﷺ lifted his blessed hand, Sayyidina Abu Hurayra, he ran off. He went home. He knocked on the door, and his mother said, I'm bathing, wait. When she finished, she came out. She said, I accept Islam. Then he came running back to the Prophet ﷺ to tell him, the Prophet ﷺ, about this good news. And then he also made a special dua. And the dua that he made was, Oh Allah, put respect and honor in the heart of Muslims for me and my mother. Put the respect and honor of me and my mother in the heart of Muslims. And because of this dua the Prophet made for him, he even, the lady he used to work for, his former employer, he had the honor of even married her. His connection to the Prophet was beautiful. There's one beautiful incident where he had a bag full of dates, and he asked the Prophet to bless them, and the Prophet blessed the dates. And the Prophet said to him, eat whatever you need from this bag, but don't empty it. And he said, I had this in my possession from the time the Prophet gave me until the Khilafah of Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq through the Khilafah of Sayyidina Umar all the way to the time of Sayyidina Uthman, I had this bag with me. And I used to take whatever I needed, dates from it. And he said, until the renegades in the time of Sayyidina Uthman, they forced the bag, they emptied it, and said, all the bag, all the blessings left after that. It was finished. And he had great love for the Prophet's family. On one occasion, he asked Imam Hassan, alayhi salam, he said, lift your blessed shirt so I can kiss your blessed stomach, just like the Prophet used to do. And when Imam Hassan passed away, he said to the people, O people, cry, weep today as much as you can, for indeed the beloved of the Prophet has passed away. One day, Sayyidina Abu Hurayra, he went to the marketplace and he said, O people, haven't you heard that the inheritance of the Prophet is being distributed in the mosque? So everybody left there, they all went to the mosque. And then they came back, bemused, and they said to Abu Hurayra that, why are you pranking us? And he said, what are they doing in the mosque? He said, that they're just circles of knowledge, that's all that's going on. He said, that is the inheritance of the Prophet. Now that's what you should be taken from. So just to finish off, and just to mention the power of the legacy. In less than 4 years that he spent with the Prophet, less than 4 years, Sayyidina Abu Hurayra was able to absorb and retain over 5,000 ahadith of the Prophet. And his achievements, this achievement is remarkable. And the entire Ummah, including us, the entire Ummah is indebted to Sayyidina Abu Hurayra. And without his passion and his zeal and this remarkable love that he had for the Prophet and his words, that we would have lost much of our religion. And also credit is due to his students from the Tabi'een, which at one time were over 800, the likes of Muhammad ibn Sirin, the likes of Sa'id ibn Musayyib, Abdul Rahman ibn Hurmuz, radiallahu anhu, these blessed Tabi'een companions. As Muslims, we aim to live our life according to the life of the Prophet, and for this we need knowledge of the Sunnah. And the Sunnah was preserved by the Sahaba, and then the companions that came after them. And without the contributions of Sayyidina Abu Hurayra, what would be left on the Sunnah? Sayyidina Abu Hurayra's life also teaches us hope, and that is that even if we don't belong, like Hussein was mentioned, even if we don't belong to a major family, or like some companions were known for the bravery in battles, or even if we haven't spent our entire life with our Shaykh or being close to him, we can still flourish, and we can still make our lives meaningful. We find the area where we are good at and we excel in. During his final illness, his friend, Sayyidina Abu Hurayra's friend, Abu Salama Kharija, he came to Sayyidina Abu Hurayra and he said, when he was ill, he said that may Allah cure you and give you good health. He said, please don't pray for this, don't pray for my health. He said, but pray for my hereafter. That I'm a sinner with no provisions for the next life. I pray for my salvation. Such was his humility. He passed away in the 60th Hijri year, around the age of 78. And he left behind 2 sons and a daughter. His funeral was led by the governor of the time, and his blessed body was buried in Jannat al-Baqi. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allows us to benefit from the life and from the narrations that Sayyidina Abu Hurayra radiyallahu anhu narrated, and we ask to be in his company in the hereafter. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, dua will be after namaz, inshallah.